What is going on? I happen to be Uncle Chip, the ultimate planet divine
and
royal
I'm
emperor.
A Batman!
I happen to be Superman. Actually, I happen to be the only, allowed, privileged, royal,
and I talk to God.
Universal divine emperor. I know, it's crazy, right? This happens to be my nephew. His name is Caston. He happens to be Batman. He's a lot of things. Apparently, he talks to God too. I talk to God too, but my talking to God is more connected with acceptance and understanding. And his is Babel. He's working on it. I know, kid. You happen to be amazing. You're the coolest kid in this room. I know. It's crazy, right? Anyway, I happen to be the ultimate Uncle Chip. But none of you guys get to call me Uncle Chip because I happen to be the senator. I'm the president. Global Understanding Investment Enterprise Corporation Company.
Woo!
Mm-hmm. That's my business,
I'm the
baby.
president.
I happen to be
superhero, and I'm a
the
superhero
only
Batman.
global universal business planet politician president.
My shirt, everybody?
I happen to be the president. I know, it's crazy, right?
Oh,
let me remind you, you can call me the senator. I also have a lot of other names you can call me. You can call me Dad because I happen to be the father. I know, my sons, I got 2 of them out there. Anyway, talk to my baby mama. She happens to be the worst person. It's okay, though. She knows it. Anyway, I know, so is her husband, but it's okay. I know, it's right. It's right when it's right. Anyway, this happens to be my nephew. And none of my family members get to see, spend time, understand, or involve themselves with acceptance of, understanding, privilege, right? Involvement with my son. I'm restricted to, and I don't have any condition of authorized justice involvement barring me. I know, it's crazy, right? Anyway, I know there's a lot you don't understand. This happens to be my nephew. He happens to be here at this moment, only for a little bit. He's been beating me up. He thinks he's cool beating on me. But unfortunately, I keep reminding him that beating on me is not okay. Because unfortunately, I beat back. I don't like to beat up little people because it's, it's beneath me. Not to mention, God frowns upon that. He wants us all to be connected. We happen to be on the planet, and God gave us the planet with our lives. And he had reminded the truth of an understanding that everybody on the planet, no matter where you live, no matter how you've lived, no matter who seems to be above you, with restrictions of, systematic process and government relations, order, policy, law, dictatorship, democracy, free will, I don't know, whatever it is that happens to be governing your region. It doesn't matter because God happens to be the ultimate understanding. I know it's crazy, right? Everybody's looking towards religion, but unfortunately they seem to miss something. I know they keep saying that I missed something, but it's funny because God talks to me and he had reminded me to share. I'd been sharing Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Snapchat, Instagram, soon IG of TikTok. But, this happens to be the coolest kid ever. He's got TikTok, which is crazy because I don't have a TikTok yet. He keeps telling me I need a TikTok. I'm just like, I don't know, kid. I don't know if TikTok can handle me. I mean, I happen to have a lot of girlfriends. I was accepted by an understanding that I'm allowed to be with whoever I want to be with. Since I'm not allowed to be with my son because my baby mama has, wrongly segregated me and stripped me of my authorization father right. I know it's crazy, right? It's crazy when, the law and justice allows criminality uh to operate. I know my baby mama, she had used her husband to harass me, and then he came over to my apartment trying to harass me with paperwork for me to release my rights of my parental understanding. And then he got mad, left, came back, harassed me some more, and then he left my apartment to call a fake and phony lie of statement infraction. I know. He lied and said that I wanted to kill my baby mama, him, and his son. I know. I still believe that their son, the latest one, happens to be my genetics. But it's okay, though, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Apparently, I know, kid. Apparently, my son doesn't ever want to be with me. He wants to change his name, and he doesn't want to have any involvement with me. But it's crazy because he was taken away from me from birth. And I had to fight all of his life, to remind myself that, we get to reunite and be together. Unfortunately, I've been told by enough that don't know shit that it's never going to be, which is, an understanding that God had reminded me to accept because he had gifted me my son, in the afterlife. And I happen to be accepted in heaven. I know right now we're not in heaven, but, Earth planet is like utopia. Everything on the planet is allowed. Everything. No restrictions. God's not restricting us. He's not even asking us to earn or prove or to be accepted on the planet because he gave us life. He created us on the planet. And there's no other planet you can get to. I mean, they keep talking about Mars and whatever, but no one's going anywhere. You're not allowed. The closest thing you can get to is the moon, and you guys don't even want to be on the moon. Which is crazy because the moon is the only rotation of security
put your shoulder in.
Surrounding our Earth planet. I know it's crazy, right? I kind of want to touch the sun, but that's just me, though. I want to remind myself that I've gone so deep into the sun that no other planet is going to cause me conflict. It's just so crazy. I know there's a lot I want to tell you, but let's get back to the truth. You can follow me on Facebook. I happen to be the only cool kid. You can follow me on Instagram. You can also follow me on Snapchat and Twitter. I know. If you don't know any of those, you need to get to know me and then connect. I happen to be sharing the truth all the time. I'm also reminding myself to follow all my girlfriends. Oh, that's right. I happen to have the right and privilege to date whoever I want. And I have a lot of girlfriends. I had reminded all my girlfriends that I have girlfriends, and even them being my girlfriend, they're still connected to all my other girlfriends. And I'm never giving up my girlfriends. I'm going to impregnate all of the women of the world and give them babies because I happen to be the ultimate understanding of genetic privilege. I'm connected to God, and it's the coolest experience ever. We're all connected, but none of you guys have earned his acceptance, apparently, because you still don't know anything about anything, and I've been sharing it all. I know. Talk to your religion of all kind and get them to share with you the truth that I've already shared online. I know it's crazy, right? I've been sharing it with my family. I've been sharing it with friends. I've been sharing it with people. I've been sharing, and I'm going to continue to share because it's my privileged understanding of translation and encryption. I know, it's crazy, right? I have to. I happen to be the messenger. I know. There's a lot of names that you don't understand, but unfortunately, I'd been, authorized with approval of all of them. It's just amazing. My son doesn't know his royal, involvement of entitlement. He doesn't. Dominique Christian Jones, that baby mama, to me, happens to be Natalie Jones. I know, I love you, girl. And then my son, Malachi Riley Allen Davis Harvin, hyphenate Blue because, my baby mama got married. My baby mama's name, Catherine Elizabeth Mary Davis. Hyphenate blue because she got married. Her wasted space of a husband. I know the liar who convicted me of, false and lies. I don't even know. It's crazy, right? His name is Anthony Norman Blue. Crazy, right? Norman, middle name. It's just crazy. Anyway, I happen to be sharing the truth, and I don't have to lie about nothing. I was told to never lie, which means that I don't need to lie to you ever about anything. I mean, I may stretch the story, but I don't have to lie. I just tell the truth, and I don't have to worry about being processed for criminal crimes because there's no such thing ever in the Earth planet existence of criminality. Yeah, justice, criminality, judgment, processing, conviction, incarceration, imprisonment. There's no such thing ever. As far as the truth, the essential purpose, Earth planet right of creation, you were gifted life, which means that your life you were gifted on the planet has involved you with an understanding of acceptance and earned privilege. You could be anywhere on the planet. You can create land of property anywhere on the planet. Let me remind you how this works. The whole planet happens to be abundant with resources we steal and manufacture for our process of supply, good, product, and waste. I know. We waste a lot of shit all over the planet, into the soil, into the water system, pollution into the air, even shooting it out in space. Let me remind you something. We should shoot all of our waste directly into the sun. It's the perfect plan. We can create all kinds of bullshit, but we can create the best and not dump garbage into the soil, contaminating the soil. I don't know, because no one is digging that shit back up and then shifting through it and then sorting it and then, properly wasting of it in a, what is the word? When you go and you dump shit and you recycle in a recycled manner. There we go. Because we don't do that ever on the planet. Look all over the planet. It's fucking, filthy and, disgusting. All over the planet. Not just North, South, and Africa. I know. Right? Europe and other Asian location. I know, all over the planet. So it doesn't matter, even in the water system. I know. So it's crazy. You guys are going to worry about business? Business was created. Remind yourself of the truth. Everything on the planet was created systematically for order, process, and, involvement of comparison. Yeah.
We're done.
Why are we done? This is the truth. This is the only time I get to talk about it.
Because I didn't get to even talk.
All right, I'll be quiet. I'll let you talk. Go ahead, talk.
I am the mayor.
You are the mayor.
And you are nothing. And I am the winner. And I have a dog.
You have a dog? Who's your dog?
Wesley.
Wesley. You know what? I got a dog that's in this room. And this dog that's in this room happens to be the one scratching up his face, which is crazy. I know. Look at his face. Show him your face. The other side. The side that's got the scratches on it. Do you even know what side that is?
Yeah.
What side is it?
The side.
No, it's on the other side. That side right there. If you guys can't see his face in that section right there where he's pointing happens to have a scratch. And then the forehead, right there. In that section right there, there happens to be a scratch. Unfortunately, he's got a lot of scratches because he keeps messing with his Uncle Chip. And his Uncle Chip happens to be the ultimate warrior.
I'm the ultimate warrior.
All right, fine. You're the ultimate warrior. But you know what? You're not as cool as Uncle Chip, because Uncle Chip happens to be the ultimate.
We're done.
We're not done. We're cool, kid. Sit there and remind yourself who happens to be divine privilege. All right, me and you in this camera right
and
now.
This dog on this bed is blind.
I know all dogs are blind. Really, life is blind. Anyway, back to the blind understanding. I went blind when I was in my apartment like 4 or 5 times. I lost my vision. I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy. I was with my girlfriend, Megan Cadusko. I had a lot of girlfriends. Check my shit. Anyway, she happened to be one of my girlfriends, I'm not gonna lie, and I went blind. I went blind in front of her dad. He walked in and looked at me. He was like, "Ooh, bro." And I was like, "Oh, man, I can't see." And then I happened to gone blind with my girlfriend while she was in the bed, and I fell over, and I was like laying there like, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Ooh, baby, I'm gonna lay here for a second and remind myself I can't see." It's crazy what happens to you when you, independentlize yourself. You know, I invited all my girlfriends. I was lucky enough to have, a soiree of company. I'm not gonna lie. My girlfriend, Gabriella, stays upstairs off to the, right side. She came over a couple times, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of girlfriends that I have. I'm not gonna lie. I'm involved. I really am involved. I mean, all my girlfriends online, all my girlfriends in my neighborhood, no matter what neighborhood I'm in. And, my exes, Brittany, Lindsay, all my girlfriends. I got a cool girlfriend right now. Her name is Diablux. She happens to be connected with Vicky, Sandra, Sylvia, Samantha, baby, Veronica, Victoria, baby. I know. I'm actually connected to even a lot of the superstars. I'm not gonna lie. High-profile celebrities of the media and politics. I'm not gonna lie. I don't need to say any politics names because I don't want to offend anybody. And then, I don't really want to say any of my celebrity girlfriends' names, like Barissa, Oh, I shouldn't have said that. What about Kardashians? I shouldn't have said that either. Gabby, man, I'm not gonna lie. Alice, Pineapple Brat, ooh, baby.
We're done.
We're not done. You want to keep talking?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
So we're out. We're gonna be done. And
do you even do anything on your TikTok? What do you do on your TikTok?
Watch videos and say I'm done.
You don't do anything on your TikTok?
And we're done.
Don't share?
Right now.
You don't share anything on your TikTok? I share all kinds of content on my Snapchat. I share all kinds of content on my Twitter. I share all kinds of content on my MySpace, which I reconnected. I'm not gonna lie. I was disconnected from all my media for a minute. Let me remind you, I got sent to jail for 11 months of harassment, torture, and unneeded holding. I'm not gonna lie, incarceration. And they charged me for threat to kill 4 members. Why would I want to kill my son and 3 others? My baby mama and 2 others. Doesn't make any sense. Never in my wildest dreams. Even God, as long as I've been alive, knows me to know me not to cross that line ever. Everybody on the planet needs to live. Doesn't matter who you are. Everybody has divine understanding of acceptance. Doesn't matter who you are. Go ahead, say something, kid.
We're gonna take a picture when we're done ever. Now.
We're gonna take a picture. Do you want to take a picture? I think I can take a picture while with you. Maybe. Nope. Nope. I can't take a picture. Not facing this way. But if I turn the camera around, I can take a picture. It just won't be me holding it like a selfie. Anyway, you gotta learn how to use your camera, kid. You gotta learn how to use your phone so that way you can remind yourself you're sharing the truth. I share the truth all the time. My dad's name is Marquette Watson. I mean, actually, his name change is Mark, but unfortunately, I kind of like Marquette. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Desiree Page is my girlfriend. Kimberly Marie Irving is my girlfriend. Katie Rio is one of my girlfriends. There's a lot of girlfriends I have. Bianca, Michelle,
Veronica?
Ashley,
Veronica?
Christina,
Annika?
Katina,
Veronica?
Alicia, baby, Siri, not the cell phone, Alexis, not Amazon app, baby. Anyway, I can keep giving you names all day because I like and love and invest the truth of involvement with all my girlfriends. And I really wish I could give you more names, but I don't want to hold too much more time. I've actually been sharing 20 minutes worth of content. My mom's name is Bobby. My sister's name is Taya. My brother, one of my brothers, his name is King Savad Kai. I know. Another one of my brothers, his name is Sean. Another one of my brothers' name is Contarius Tyrell. I got other brothers. The Brotherhood. Tim, Justin, Juan, Zach, Justin, baby. I know. Ugh! Get beat up, kid. Sister, I'm beating up your son. I've been beating up your son since he came into this room, harassing me and whatnot. Oh, let me remind you, when I got locked up in jail, unfortunately, I lost the ability to sleep. I lost it before I got locked up, because I got locked up in city for some bullshit too. It was all bullshit. And I was there for like 4 months. Didn't sleep at all. I was like in the detentive tank with the, detective lights of,
Can we be done?
brightness. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And that screwed me up. God touched me more than once while I was in there because I was getting supernatural feeling of involvement the whole time that I was locked up in city. And I seen a UFO. I'm not gonna lie, a UFO. I went to the yard, I looked up and I was like, oh! I watched it until I couldn't see it no more. And I was like, oh man, that's a UFO. And my eyes are not playing tricks on me. It was low enough to the surface that I seen it effing clear. I actually seen more things while I was in the city than I ever seen while I was locked up in the county for 11 months of harassment. Met a lot of cool guys, I'm not gonna lie, but I didn't need to be there on charges that were made up and phony. I know, my baby mama, bullshit, because she's never lied about the truth when it involves me. I know, it's crazy, right? Nothing she says about me is right because she's made it up because she assumes that I don't have purpose or privilege. Unfortunately, it happens. I told her when we were young, she's going to do this bullshit. And I asked her very kindly. I was like, baby, don't steal my child. Don't do any of that crazy shit because God's talking to me and telling me that, you're going to do something stupid. She's like, no, I'm never. I was like, I hope not, because God's never lied to me about the truth. I don't know if it'll fit, but I'll try. But I reminded myself to share everything. I've shared enough information with most of my people of involvement. My brother Nino, when we were young, I told him, I was like, bro, I have that deja vu, bro. We're gonna miss the bus. We need to start running, bro. Blah, blah, blah. He's like, no. I was like, no, bro, the bus is coming, bro. I know, all kinds of deja vu. We can never be done because the planet happens to be asleep. And they happen to understand, they don't know what they understand because they're not awake. And as long as the planet has been in rotation, they've been listening to people who have interpreted what they assume to understand based on scripture, archived, notation, religion. And apparently you guys don't know anything because your reading and your understanding happens to be not connected to the divine nature's truth. I can't read. It's just, my gifted curse. I'm not allowed to read. My eyes go, because like I said, I got blind more than once. So I'm not allowed to read scripture, font, and shit. I know I do the best I can until my eyes, woo, and then I'm like, oh shit. Anyway, there's no such thing as wrong. There's not. There's no dark, there's no light, there's no evil, there's no sin within reason. Now, granted, earth process of understanding, there's wrong. Now, that wrong happens to be a default buried in your soul. You have to erase it. So you got to erase criminality, which is sin, which is fault, which is anger, hate, destruction, doom, death, torture, torment. You got to erase that from your existence. I did. I mean, granted, I think about all kinds of crazy shit. Like, I really want to beat up my baby mama. I'm not gonna lie. All of the women on the planet who's ever assume to allow themselves to accept that kind of understanding, they all should die. That's my thought. Now, I can't express that with excitement because God doesn't want no one to die. He just wants everybody to wake up and accept that you already are on utopia, heaven. And when you've accepted heaven and the way of life of unification, united planetary acceptance, then you'll accept being accepted to the afterlife, heaven. And who knows where heaven's at? I mean, he's told me, and I've shared it. But, I mean, in reality, you don't know where heaven's at. Sure, we can manufacture, build, create, and develop all kinds of equipment.
I want to be there.
And we can explore with, opportunity of view all over the universe within right? But unfortunately, you can't get anywhere out there because you aren't allowed. We're not with privilege, right, to travel outside this planet. I mean, granted, space technology travels a little bit. They do a little bit of exploration and bullshit. But unfortunately, there's no reason that we should continue living divided all over the planet, because the planet happens to be arc core. It is. It's the island. It doesn't matter how you look at it. You can look at it from any direction you want. The planet is one property, which means that everything on it, doesn't matter how big or small it is, it's connected. It doesn't matter if you shift, allowance of your understanding to this area, and this area, and this area. It doesn't matter. We're all connected, which means that we all have to function, and we can't function properly divided. There's just no way at all. So, unfortunately, you have to stop dividing us with this bullshit of systematic process that was created and involved of development process and dog. This is the dog right there. Look, there's the dog. And direction from way back when.
This dog's getting on me.
The dog loves you, kid. This dog has been attracted to my nephew since my nephew had been playing with it, getting scratched up and shit. And unfortunately, she happens to be the only thing of interest to this kid. Now look at her. She's going effing crazy, licking all over him and cuddling him up. Dog, keep him busy. Anyway, so unfortunately, we've been living wrong. We have. It doesn't matter how you look at it.
I don't like it.
The system is going to take forever and do no right with its process of what they find important to, direct. And it just doesn't matter because you talk to God and God, is explaining, like it doesn't matter what you assume that you should push and achieve as far as notation and archived history. It doesn't matter because we're going to get there too late. I mean, we've already been on the planet for millenniums of time. And everybody assumes that, every century, every new generation, we got more time because, there's more people here and whatnot. But it doesn't matter. You got to add up the truth. How long has the planet been created? The planet's been created longer than civilization has been allowed existence, which means that at any time, the planet could assume extinction as it has in the past with, creation and separation. Dinosaurs, cavemen, barbarians, dragons, aliens, God. Dog, calm down. Adam and Eve, apparently, and, all of history. So it doesn't matter. Now, let me remind you something, because I don't know a whole lot. I just pay attention to God, and he shares the truth. If we get to the point in time where God had decided that, you guys chose not to wake up after you had been reminded by the truth of, interpretation, translation, and encrypted message of share, when you get to the point that we had gotten to the world end of extinction and God had chosen to wipe out all of civilization, which means all of humanity. The dog is horny. I'm not gonna lie. The dog's trying to hump my nephew. We're gonna watch the dog for a second because I'm very curious if she decides to try and hump him. There she goes. She gonna hump you, bro. She gonna hump all over you. Look, there she goes. She about to get ready. Look at her. She gonna hump you, bro. Alright, she laying on you. She cool. She not trying to hump him right now, but she was gonna hump him. I'm not gonna lie. She gonna hump all over him. I can't do it. I watch, but I'm not involved. Dogs used to hunt me back in the day, but I had to remind myself that no bueno. Anyway, for real, not gonna lie. Anyway, who am I gonna be with, right? I keep reminding myself that I'm involved. I got, privilege, my partners. But the truth is, I gotta find my solid 100. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who she is. I keep saying my Asian love. But, she may not be Asian. She could be Hispanic. She could be Latina. She could be white. She could be European. She could be, I don't know. She could be African. Who knows? She could be Australian, European. I don't know. I'm involved to be with whoever I want to be with, right? I'm not necessarily doing anything crazy. I kind of love having sex. I'm not gonna lie. I'm the worst sex partner you're ever gonna find, but unfortunately, sex is an earned fitness. It really is.
Sleepy time.
Anyway, I got a lot of people to name, kid. Maximum destruction. I know. It's coming. It doesn't matter how you look at it.
We don't care about this, so bye.
Hey, look, kid, you can actually leave the room and I'll continue sharing this important information in detail. Or you can stay in here and listen to me share the truth and you can learn something. It doesn't really matter to me what you choose. I'm involved with this phone.
Too much.
It's because I'm good at sharing the truth. Granted, I babble and I share all kinds of bullshit. I could be singing, but unfortunately, they don't want to hear me singing. Because follow me online and you'll hear me share, all kinds of good songs. Country, rock, hip hop, classical, opera, instrumental, R&B, all kinds of good shit. There are a lot of good songs out there. I'm not gonna lie. Can you name a song you like? Who do you know? Give me an artist. Do you know any music?
Rap.
That rap is not an artist. Rap is a genre. It's a group of
people singing.
No, it's not a group of people singing. It's a group of a style of music. That's what it is.
What kind of them?
What do you mean? What kind of? You can tell me somebody you know in rap. Who do you know? What was the last song you listened to?
The rap on Vada.
Man. What's up, Malu? I know she happens to be one of my girlfriends.
Oh, I'm a rap. You
I'm
talk
not gonna lie.
to me.
Mimi
Oh,
Jules, I
what
love
is
that
that?
girl. Where you at,
Be
girl?
quiet.
I got locked up on
got
some bullshit,
away.
and then I got out, and then I
Nothing
finally got
alive.
allowed to get connected back to my social media,
And
and
a
you know where to be
virus.
found, girl, which
And a
kind of
virus.
bugs me,
A
because I kind of
virus.
enjoyed
A
our connection.
virus. A virus.
Oh, man. Is that the song? Oh, man. See, he's got vocals. I mean, another one of my girlfriends. Really? Adriana? Ariana Grande? What? Selena Gomez? Woo! Yeah, no. Jessica Alba.
We've been talking the whole
Taylor
time.
Swift.
We've been talking
Demi
the whole
Rose.
time. We've been
Demi
talking the
Rose,
whole
girl, you got the biggest smile
time.
ever. I was connected to you forever as I'm connected to everybody else. But girl, yesterday while I was looking online, reminding myself of my connection with all my fans, you were sharing all kinds of excitement. Girl, who has your soul? Girl, I keep telling myself it's me, but then again, I keep reminding myself to share all my girlfriends, and I kind of post everybody. Because I do that. Unfortunately, I'm not posting enough. Man. I don't even post content like this. I'm going to have to figure out what site of media I'm going to post this on.
I want to be done.
You can be done when you leave this room, kid. You want me to stop so you can beat me up. That's what you want.
No, I don't.
You're not going to beat me up now?
No.
This whole time I've been in this room, he's been beating me up. And I have the worst knee. Let me remind you, my kneecap. My kneecap was fine before I got locked up. I was walking all over everywhere, hanging out with everybody. It's time for you to go, kid.
Then you.
Oh, it's time for you to go, kid. Get out of here. Get out of here.
No, your fault. You make my pinky explode again.
I'm going to beat you up and make your big toe big.
No, you're not.
Pick up Gwen's heater.
Yeah, pick that shit up.
I didn't put that down there.
You did.
You.
No, I
Come on.
didn't.
Anyway.
My pinky's not going down.
All right, kid. Stay out of trouble. Listen to your kids. I mean, your parents. I mean, your brother and your sister. I mean, you're not old enough to have kids yet. Anyway, let me remind you again, because I got rudely interrupted. I got harassed again, because that would happen. And I got locked up. But again, like I said, I didn't have any health problems before I got locked up. I didn't. I was roaming everywhere, talking, involving myself, and, infatuatedly involved with my feelings of arousal and excitement for the women of my location. And I was going through it. I'm not gonna lie. I was going through it. I was like, ooh, yeah, all these girls. Oh, I was. And then, bullshit happened. I got locked up. They assumed that I was trying to harass, stalk, and break and enter, trespass inside someone's place. And I'm like, whoa. I don't do that shit. So they processed me for an understanding of injustice. And I was like, hold up, I'm in here on some bullshit. I've never, as long as I've ever been in my location, ever crossed that line. But they assumed, because, one neighbor assumed the lie and the other neighbor assumed to go with it. And I was like, this is bullshit. That was the 4 months. Caused me to not sleep. Got out. I was kind of sleeping, but couldn't sleep. Then got harassed. I told you that. And then I got locked up for the 9 of 11 months total. So with that being said, it was just a crazy scenario. I would have been charged if I didn't take a plea 4 years. I know, 4 years. It's one count for each member they assume to convict me with of, process and, condition charge. I know it's crazy. I've just in my wildest dreams the whole time, my fight to be with my son and be allowed, reunited, and involved as the father, dad. It's been bullshit. Why would I assume to want to kill my baby mama and my son and then add 2 more people to the list? It just doesn't make any sense. Everybody who's done me wrong, family members, friends, whoever, they should have been the first ones, right? But unfortunately, I've never. So why would I do that now? This man got mad and jealous, came over to my apartment, fussing and shit, and he got mad about a conversation. Left, came back, harassed me, left, and then lied. I know whoever he brought to, my apartment with him as his witness doesn't even matter because they were nowhere of sight. They were hiding, which doesn't make any sense. Why would you bring a witness that's hiding? I mean, you guys should have came into my apartment. I invited you in like everybody else who's ever been to my apartment. You get to come in and we get to hang out. I've done all kinds of crazy shit in my apartment. I was doing wild shit. Sex, drugs, involvement of, private and privileged allowance. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I do all kinds of shit now, but I mean, I'm more, refined and, not so open. I mean, I'll involve myself with whoever you are. It doesn't matter who you are. But, I mean, as far as me being privileged to involve myself in condition of, excess and enjoyment, you might be involved with the joy of my acceptance and join, or I might, study, pay attention, and not use the acceptance of allowance. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I try and get into everything. I'm not gonna lie. I try and get into your girl's pants. You like that one, don't you? Anyway, I'm not getting into no one's pants at this moment because unfortunately I'm doing the good thing and reminding myself that, my girlfriend is my girlfriend. It doesn't matter who my girlfriend is, she's my girlfriend. And as long as I'm not in your girlfriend's pants at this moment, I'm doing my righteous. I know. I'm reminding the land to wake up. You guys are asleep. We can bullshit about bullshit, but I mean, the truth is you guys are asleep because you guys are asleep and I happen to be sharing, and you guys have been studying this information a lot longer than I've been allowed to try and interpretate and involve myself in its literature. So it doesn't matter how you look at it. I mean, you're going to use my information anyway, and you're going to remind yourself that you came up with it. It was just a revelation of information and study, understanding is what you're going to share. You're not going to, remind yourself to share that I'm the one who came up with it. You read my notes and then you were like, ooh, I'm inspired and I'm getting a lot of information now. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, really, use my information. It's the truth. God shared it with me. I know, right? It's the only truth because, I mean, you could say what you want like I have already shared. You can do what you want, you can say what you want, and we can continue to have destruction, doom, death, torture, war, and, segregation of discrimination all over the planet. We can assume that we need to continue this broken order of systematic process and direction of involvement. We can assume that you guys know more about how long our existence is allowed. You guys can keep assuming, but unfortunately, let's do your homework. Let me remind you, because I have been reminding everybody, those of you who are university, college, high school, grade school, elementary, no school. What's that? You get to a point in age, you've earned the right to what is that word? Uh you stop working. You are hey father, what's that word when you get to a certain age and then you earn it? Unc, what is that age that you get to when you retirement. There we go. What? Nothing, I got it. Figured it out. Thank you. It's okay, it's all right. Anyway, you get to retirement. I mean, it doesn't matter. The truth is that you guys need to wake up and you guys need to read the truth. You guys need to read it. You guys need to look back into history, since you pay attention to so much about the past and then you forget about the future because you get lost in media and technology. I mean, technology had been moving with created speed faster than the understanding of, your way of life. Technology is going to continue to surpass life and existence because it's faster and easier to, create and develop than it is to understand truth and reality, current and present condition of existence. It really is. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Look at history. They didn't have that shit. I mean, they created all kinds of crazy shit with nothing. Really? How did they make the pyramids? Why haven't we discovered anything else? Let me remind you, everything on the planet was created with a sign, right? Everything. Foreign countries have a lot of information. They have tons because, unfortunately, that was the location of, involvement in the beginning. I mean, granted, there was involvement all over the planet, but to history and its archived understanding of share and focus, the foreign country had been more important with activity than anywhere else on the planet. Africa, Europe, Middle East, Asia, right? All that. I mean, South America, right? But anyway, those locations over there, we're currently having problem with invasion and condition of extinction. Really, countries are trying to invade each other because they want to, advance their control. That's what they're doing. It doesn't make no sense. You guys have been living over in your guys' section of region forever. And there's no reason, none whatsoever. A certain country, I'm not going to get all political and whatnot, but a certain country had assumed that it's going to start attacking neighborly regions for threat and excitement and wonder. So this country had assumed that it's going to continue its raid of destruction and harassment and invasion. It really is. It doesn't matter. I mean, let's realistically look forward. This country takes over the attacking state of territory it's currently in direction for. They're going to use that country as a leverage. They are. That, so to say, system is going to use that location of region as leverage to then move and advance the rest of that region with invasion and new control. It's what they're going to do. This certain location already owns, let's hypothetically say I'm correct, 80% of that region land geography. It does. Most of that region is already owned with mapped out direction of ownership. So it only makes sense that this system of region had assumed that they had lived in that section for as long as they had lived in that section, growing and, involving way of life and dictatorship of control and, processed, direction, like most foreign regions. Don't make no sense why any of you guys assume that way of life is necessary. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so again, that's the system. It really is. So they want to advance their population of property. That's what they want. So they want to take that location. Use your notes, news, and media to tie in exactly the names of the locations I'm talking about. But it's all over. It's highlighted on the instant of extreme, so it should be easy to find. Anyway, so this region wants to advance. So again, they take that location. That's leverage. Doesn't matter how you look at it. It's leverage. After they take that location, they start moving in to stealing more. If they're already a threat with extreme and harsh conditions of power and threat, what makes you think that they haven't already planned exactly what I'm already stating? The man had been planning this information of attack for a long time now. Just so now, COVID, which is fake, all over the world, which is bullshit, is allowing this attack to go without defense and support. And the neighboring countries are assuming to not necessarily aid in support and defense. Doesn't make any sense. You guys assume that financially is way more important to sort and direct than it is to actually put boots on the ground and remind yourself that you guys are the closest region, and this specific location of threat happens to not necessarily have the power if y'all's region stands up. Just realistically looking at it, it doesn't matter whether or not this location can defend itself without support. All of you guys in that location is going to get wiped out by this one system of power and threat of attack. It just doesn't matter. I mean, look at it. Who is going to step up? Who? Don't say my region, because my region don't live close enough. It's going to take time and resources to travel and set up a containment plan of direction and strategic aid. It's just, it really is. It doesn't matter how you look at it. We fly, it's going to take some time. They're going to spot us in the air. We, go by boat. We're going to be in the water, dead in the water. We can't necessarily, spiderweb, pew, and, zap ourselves there because you don't have it. It doesn't matter. I mean, I keep telling myself I'm going to, be with authorized, manifestation, but not yet. So again, it doesn't matter the travel of process. It's still going to take our team more time than it is your teams who live close and within region to support, aid, and defend and shut down this misunderstanding of, you know, harassment and problem. I know they keep saying war, like World War III. It's gonna be way worse than World War II, right? It's gonna be way worse than Vietnam, right? It's gonna be way worse than any European understanding of conflict, because this man is, supported by his own region with technology of doom. Yeah, biological, chemical, right? It's just crazy. Now, granted, foreign countries seem to have their, joy of weaponry, but it doesn't matter unless you guys decide to nuke this whole section and remind yourselves that even the 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 destruction is it can be forgiven and overlooked. You're not gonna win, really, because you have to look this completely through. Look it completely through. You have to wipe out this man's whole defense, his whole attack force, all of it. All of them bitches are retarded. Every last one of them. Pick a region. All you guys are acting stupid. So again, if you're not gonna wipe out the whole, army of force, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They're just going to come back. They are. And I'm not saying wipe anybody out, because again, I remind myself to be religious and stay righteous and, accept that we're all allowed gifted right and eternal, privilege. We are. From the time you're born until the time you die, God gifted you the earth. He did, because you're not born anywhere else. And as long as we've been on the earth, those who were lucky and lucky enough of technology to witness and capture a strange phenomenon of activity, whether that be supernatural or involvement of, other planetary existence. It doesn't matter. It's just, it has been in rotation of activity and witness since the world has been, with direction. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, the craziest thing is, what of foreign, other planetary involvement happened way before civilization? I know that's a crazy one, right? Because I mean, that's to me way more truthful of, uncovering than anything else. Oh, a reminder, because I shared it on Demi Lovato's page. I did. I love Demi Lovato. She's cool. Demi Bagby's cool too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna keep sharing names. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I might. Anyway, if we assume that we're the strongest of the strongest, then test your understanding against other planetary invasion of attack. We don't have the technology, still not created. Doesn't matter what your brains come up with. We do not have the technology yet manufactured and manifested with creation of ability, use, and operation to do anything of the little bit that we currently already do. Right? All right. Now, if we're going to keep fighting each other all over the regions, your country, my country, their country, whatever. You have to understand at some point in time, we're going to get to the point where extinction happened to have been our own, right? Not God coming back and wiping out the whole planet like he did Moses in the ark. Probably not. But, self-infliction of harm and destruction of hate and forcement of way of life order. Yeah, So, look at it. Will destroy humanity itself. Movies, TV, and, media proves with their interpretation of involvement and technology share. They've been proving it. It's going to happen. It really is. God is really going to not step in and wave his magic understanding of direction and judgment. He's going to wait for us to do it ourselves. I know, in order for us to not get to that, you have to look. We had been on the planet living a sinful way of understanding and operation since the beginning. Way back in the beginning. As far back to the beginning of Earth existence and civilization. Not animalistic beasts, but civilization. So with that being, an understanding note, we had been living wrong since then. We had only been living wrong to an understanding based on archive notation of share. That's not to say that that information is true and right to the core. It's just that's the information you are finding with right and allowance to study and look into. So, to the truth of the truth, you don't know it because it's not written. You don't have proof of that information to recall. But to what we do have, this is what we have. So, again, let me interpretate real quick. In order for us to exactly live the way you were created, an understanding of right, essential purpose, you would have to then erase sin, destruction, lies, invasion, illusion, deception, hate, sorrow, death, torment, torture, the big one, judgment. You have to erase all that. There's a whole lot more, so use your brain and, figure it out. You have to erase all that. You would have to, assume to manifest an allowance of right and change to live as you study a religious understanding of acceptance, a righteous religious directed way of life. Now again, reminder, we had described a whole lot of information as this being right, that being wrong, this being accepted, that being not accepted. This is the way of truth, and this is not the way. And these characteristic traits are taboo, and these are accepted. And we keep changing all that information as we continue to move through life, generations time. Adapting and directing with new direction of clarification and acceptance. So again, what may be a way of life, right, and privileged proof of understanding may not be a couple generations from now. So it may change. But to the truth, there was no restriction of way of life. You didn't have language of interpretation of word choice that was a threat or a problem way back then. You just jibber jabbered, and whatever the language was your your share, your communication. So there wasn't a problem of, ooh, you're talking dirty to me, bro. You're crossing me with wrong choice of language. You're offending me, or whatever your reason is. You didn't have that problem way back when. You just didn't. It just wasn't there. But over time, the accumulation of different locations and their language of involvement, it caused conflict. You didn't know anything. Someone from a new region, from a long traveled journey, roll up on you out in the wild and shit. They're speaking gibberish to you. They're speaking whatever language that they were adapted with. What are you doing, bro? Talk to me, bro. I don't understand your interpretation. And then they assume attack and defend and, survival. Apparently, because they kept fighting each other, which is the reason, as to the truth, as to why those existence of past and created human involvement don't exist now. It's not because they lived wrong. It's just they didn't understand that they needed to get along. They needed to involve no fighting and acceptance, but unfortunately, we're still dealing with that problem today. Apparently, it doesn't matter where you look at it. We're dealing with that problem, homeland, wherever your homeland is, and domestic, foreign involvement. So, again, calculation, if we can't change, then current generation will lose. Current generation loses because the understanding of truth is not existent. They don't understand anything about whatever the truth is because they were deprived of, its importance. And then the generations that fall in line after that don't have the privilege, power, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's like government, security, defense of a right and order, whatever the word I'm looking for. I know I should know it. Policy. This is the only thing I can think of. They don't have the policy to back behind with direction. They don't. They're not going to have it. They're really not. They're not. Again, all of the generation before had, their understanding of way of life and order and how to process and the use of, this function we call system and, direction, the support system. But, we get to the future when they're not going to have it. They're really not. They're just going to get ran over, invaded, current condition, problem, foreign. So it doesn't matter. So again, let's tie this in. The generation next to me and the generation next to that and the generation next to that loses if we don't get right. And it doesn't matter who on the planet knows about the past, because you're not going to have any involvement to that type of system and allowance of privilege and support, because it won't exist. It just won't exist. By that time, it'll just be extinct and, unuseful of privilege. So yeah. So again, we have to get right. We have to unify a united planetary acceptance of involvement. Spherical round, meaning the whole planet. It doesn't matter where you live, because to the truth, like I had already shared early on, you are allowed to be anywhere on the planet. You are allowed to live. Even though we had created a systematic order of process and direction of, involvement, the truth is that it doesn't matter how much we advance our understanding of, of the planet and its function and the properties involved. It doesn't matter how much we understand any of that information. You could be the most educated person with archived notation of literature. A lot of you are. You guys can recall all kinds of historic bullshit. Is it saving you any pennies? Is it helping you? Is it, awakening the truth of interpretation, translation, and direction? Is it allowing you to seek and involve a elevated understanding of mental and privileged allowance? Is it at all? Is it really? Is it? I don't know. It necessarily is not my goal, but I'm sharing information that you don't have. And again, if I did have any of that information, maybe I'd have shared this information faster. Or maybe not. Maybe I'd be fooled and eluded and stuck to media and, illusion of share and content like all the rest of you. Who knows? I might have been allowed my illusion, family, and, relationship, partnership, and involvement of, private and personal, condition of, emotion. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of things I don't know because I don't know. But what I do know is that the truth is, if ever we're going to win, you all have to wake up. All of you. I could say I'm awake and, I'm elevated and I have divine nature's acceptance of new world, afterlife, privilege. Sure. But that is not truthful until I've died on this planet. I could share my interpretation of what I'm allowed and gifted the next life over. But it doesn't matter how much I share, because until death takes me from this current plane, I'm not allowed to enjoy peace and heavenly abyss of eternity and eternal right. I know the lifestyle there is, a dream. And what we live is currently reality. So stay with reality, even if you listen to media and the interpretation of translation, share, and wonder. It doesn't matter. Tie back in to reality, current condition, present. Everybody's region is a little different. So you may have a lot of, opportunity, or you may not have any opportunity. You may be a man and no allowance, or you may be a woman and segregated and discriminated against. You may be, ethnic of group harassment. You may not be. So again, sin, destruction, and harassment of judgment and segregated discrimination is all over the planet. All over. States, regions, countries. It's all over. The one place it's not is out in space. The one place it's not is on any other planet. The one place it's not is deep into the water and buried into the core. It only exists on the core humanity existence. Animal life is not segregating each other. They're not. They just live a function of created direction. They actually, within reason, without interpretation, because you can't interpretate their language yet, they live the righteous way of life. Now, we don't, and probably will never. I keep saying we will, but, realistically looking at it, you guys all assume that there is a specific race of privilege and purpose created truth. You guys assume that someone's region of ethnic historian genetics has a more involved involvement to who is superior, which is your guys' problem. There's no such thing as a created group who has more authority and power of genetics over any other. It's just not. It just so happened that in order for the test, which is the reason God chose Earth planet as its directed playground, is because he wanted us to awaken and see the truth. Now, the truth is, no one is above any other. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Whether you get this information from archive, notation, scripture, religion, or spiritual, or, otherwise, foreign and other planetary translation, or you don't at all interpretate anything. But systematic process, way of life, and direction. So again, everything is to interpretation of understanding, unless you're completely wrong, which you'll only know comparing it to everybody else, or to those who had seeked an understanding of divine truth. Not a lot of you are out there, so good luck. Other than that, it's the truth. You guys need to wake up. You guys need to seek the truth. I mean, I can share it all day. It's just easy for me. It just makes sense. But you guys don't live it. Again, reminder, to finances. This is a good one. We talked about, housing, because your understanding of divine purpose, essential right, birth condition, is that everybody on the planet gets housing. You get property. You get, home, shelter. You get land. You just do. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Whether the systematic order of operation ever gets their head out of their ass and processes the right of involvement and privilege to using technology and its function of analyzed calculation and notated the way that we calculate and we notate condition. We process that. Unless they're going to use what we already have in function, in focus, in operation, and change it, adapt it to the truth, it's not going to matter. We're going to continue to assume that the way of life is only if you're educated, only the lucky who had been accepted into a group of privileged, wealthy, and richners, and the very few who slide in under the radar. The rest of everybody else will just struggle and look upon those who have made it in the system and share their excitement and way of life. Everybody else is bullshit. So either we continue to live this way, or we live the truth of existence, which was forgotten and unallowed of privilege and direction and allowance and choice of existence. We either live the way you were created by God. It doesn't matter how you understand science, education, and function. It doesn't matter how much of that information you know. You still have to get back to the truth. Everything was created with another understanding besides what we've interpreted and we've, notated with education. Everything goes back to its core. So we don't live here. A new civilization does. They're not worried about history. They're really not. They're just going to live the way life is on the planet. Allowed, existed, and, operation. That's all they're going to do. They're not necessarily going to create conflict and war and fight and, assume, which of the group figured out who's better and who's stronger and who has more power of, strength. It's just not. They're just going to live like animalistic life. They're just going to live. We are the only understanding in Earth planet history to assume that, the truth is not important. And everything else we keep reading into is, it has merit. But apparently, if any other information had merit, all of you guys have been studying that information a lot longer than the translated, encrypted truth of information currently being shared, whether it's me or the very few lucky others. It doesn't matter, because we should have got the truths of way of life and changed an understanding of direction and process a long time ago. Before now. So again, doesn't matter how much I share with you the truth forward, you still have to add in the loss and destruction of the past. Remind yourself of the past long enough to understand we've written a lot of information of bullshit down. So again, go into the past, look at all that information, do yourself and your educated understanding a favor, and correct the bullshit in the past. It's very easy. Grab your informational archived literature, read it, highlight the bullshit of infraction, and then write in the correction, the truth that should have been before it was not. And then follow that. Very easy. Then you'll stop reading into history and assuming that you need to remind yourself of what happened. What happened? What happened? Because the truth is, when God wipes everything from this planet, he's not going to care about the new existed civilized or order of creation to manifest historic information and notation of existence. He's not. The truth is, it's not. Animalistic life beast doesn't look into the soil and assume to pick up waste and remains of existing past. It doesn't do that. Never. So, using that understanding, no other planetary existence cares about what happened in the past. How did the past live? What of information of importance can be interpreted for exploration in the past? Did they have anything important of interest they had that they lost because they weren't able to hold on to it? Buried treasure. None of that existence anywhere else cares. Doesn't. But apparently, our way of understanding life and condition cares about all that. All that. Technology, tools, property, all that shit. I lost everything, in my apartment. I'm not gonna lie. I did. I lost everything. My son's information, personal information, my private information, gifted information, and, object. I lost everything. I got locked up in what I walked out in. Lost everything in my apartment. I know. It was crazy. It was just the craziest thing ever to go through that experience. And a lot of people in our historic understanding now shared with change and processed of a new understanding had shared their infraction of harassment and injustice. Not a lot, but a good amount of people. And the media had shared an understanding of correction and sorrow of my bad. Sympathetic and apologetic responsibility. So with that being said, the system is not necessarily going through everything and correcting its mistake. But again, the system, to the truth, doesn't have divine order of privilege to, process anybody. Doesn't matter what region you live in. Doesn't matter who your system of, operation and directed, involvement is. Nobody has the privileged right bestowed upon them by God, the Creator, to direct judgment and condition of correction and process of of restriction. No, nobody on the planet. I don't. Me being a father, I don't. Me being a dad, I don't. Me having divine nature's accepted universal privilege of royal and diplomatic privilege, I still don't have authorization by God the Creator to segregate and discriminate and pass directed forced limitation and involvement of harassment upon anybody. Even if for some reason I was able to fly and manifest majestic condition of characteristic and activity of action, it doesn't matter. I'll turn into Superman. I still don't have authorization to, boss up with, empire, dynasty, kingdom right. I just don't. Maybe if, only if, not even other planetary existence, but the only if I got granted the only one wish I had come up with to request always on the constant talking to God, allowance. And that would be to have authorized privileged to manifest the evoluted existence of development and approval right of condition and allowance. The next God, God's next God created being. God is God, and to our understanding of truth, he's the only God. No other God exists. Question the beginning, there was conflict between two different understandings. God himself and that order of life and function, and the infraction of the infraction of inability to fall in with the directed path of existed way of life condition, Satan. So with that being said, that conflict caused a rift. Well, understanding, a slight question, if this happened before the existence of everything created, space, universe, planet, star, matter, worlds, and creation, still assuming created creation all over universal wide. So with that being said, we only understand our existence, and to interpretation, depending on who you are and your information you had understood of translation, you may assume there's life everywhere on, throughout the universe. Maybe, you know, maybe there's not. Maybe there's no such thing as any other created being ever in universe, otherwise, anywhere. Maybe there's not. Maybe the existence of, witness and activity is heaven direction of reminder and visitation of, acceptance and awaken truth. Maybe it's heaven, you know, cruising by for a reminder if we had woken up to the truth. Maybe. It's just, it's an option of thought. It could be. It may not be planetary otherwise, existence of foreign creation and their technology of mystery. It may not be. But again, a reminder real quick, if ever we assume we're going to be the best, we have to assume that we can take on a foreign, otherworld planetary existence and win. Not against each other, because we're always going to lose, but to the created technology that keeps flying in our space atmosphere and our atmosphere and our planetary zone of galaxy, our universe, we have to assume that any of that threat, whether it invites a allowed involvement of communication and function of whatever the action happens to be. Whether that happens ever or not, we have to assume that to understand the allowance to travel and extend operation and exploration and privileged allow whatever the experience is of allowance and involvement is, we're gonna have to learn their technology, because we don't have a technology on this planet ever on this planet is that resource allowed of creation, of manifestation, of build, of construction. We don't have it. It doesn't matter what you understand about the history or what you scientifically provide with meaning of what already is of our planetary understanding. It doesn't matter. The truth is that we don't have any of that material and resource to create any of that information of template design. We don't. Whatever the unidentified object of created existence that is within right of travel all over space and zooming through our location, we've never ever, to my understanding, had made contact with it ever. No contact. None whatsoever. So with that being said, unless we can get contact with its structure of technology and then turn around with speed and swift breakdown and redesign, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We have to create it from their resource, not our resource. Sure, we find contact of involvement with foreign alien other planetary existence. We still have to figure out how to operate their equipment, then use their equipment to travel all the way across the universe to wherever they had come from, touch down long enough to adapt and colonize a civilized way of life, then turn around with evolution, creating an understanding of, new existence, to then travel all the way back here to then bring everything from this planet's core that way. I know it's not, we finally made it with technology and we're able to travel to Mars and wherever we happen to go. That's not necessarily a realistic understanding of process and condition. It's really not. Because you still have to look generations of generations in the future, hoping we live right, would then be allowed to use what we've already created and the adaptation of reality and use of construction to then, provide the achievement, if ever achieved. So, again, the more realistic understanding is interpretation of involvement and existence with foreign planetary otherworld existence, and then interpretation of equipment, the use of their equipment, and a specific directed exploration of colonization and new evolved adaptation of life, other planetary existence. And then, you bring back. Again, you bring back. Because we can't bring everybody. Even if you go to Mars, you can't bring everybody. The truth about Mars and other planets is that these other planets are taboo to our existence. And even if you travel there, you still have to remind yourself the one truth created on this planet, unless you evolve, your way of life and anatomy, your condition of function and need survival way of life. Unless you can adapt all that and involve an evolved, mutation of new direction, it doesn't matter where you travel of exploration out in space. Still got to come back to this planet and remind yourself you need oxygen, you need water, you need food. Because realistically looking into the truth, a otherworld planetary existence probably doesn't eat. Maybe they eat a little bit. They probably don't need liquids, water, or hydration. Probably not. They probably have a sophisticated way of, maintenance and skill creation of, of resource and, build. They probably do. maybe they got, magic abilities. Who knows? I don't know. No one knows because we've never ever seen with contact proof of this understanding. But yeah, everybody can wonder. I'll break it down for you because it only takes me a second to, process it and share it to you, even in my wildest thought of wonder, the existence of its truth, even sharing the interpretation of wonder. So again, the truth is the truth. You just need to know the truth. Doesn't matter how highlighted of animation you gift it. You still gotta break it down to the truth. The truth is reality bites. It really does bite. It bites when you don't pay attention. It bites when you assume. It bites when you don't have all the information to see and understanding. It bites when you misfocus. It bites in general. It just bites. We've been, connected for an hour and 45 minutes currently. But, we're going to stay on topic with this because eventually I'm going to post it. And when I post it, I'm going to remind myself that all of you get to break it down. You get to use my notation of information and then remind yourself that you had not looked past the notes of, translation, and you had, looked deep into the truth of what's being shared. But if you look too deep, or you look past it, or you don't look, and then you assume, then deal with it, because I'm not. Again, that's the truth. So, I mean, everybody has, an understanding, awaken. It's your only right of truth. Awaken. Wake up. Same thing I told my little brother. I told him, I was like, bro, get right. So again, to the planet, to the existence of humanity, and the wonder of extinction, self-infliction, systematic process, the purge. Wake up, seek the truth. Don't assume that the systematic order of operation is the condition of truth to continue in direction, because we've already proven that it's it's just not. It's just not. We've notated in history. But anyway, again, that's the spiel of understanding to, other world existent of planetary creation. And there's not a whole lot of other ideas out there. Oh, but the great one that I came up with. We need to return back to the moon. You returned to the moon? No? Anyway, we touched down on the moon back in history, right? And we planted, gift of technology on the moon. We need to return back to the moon and then reminded ourselves that we had colonized not for survival. We had colonized the moon for the signal, support, surveillance, defense, and attack of support operation. Guess what? We need to remind ourselves we had involved of construction all over the planet's core. Then we had also reminded ourselves that we had advanced technology to excavate and construct, build, and construction into the core, all over the core. And we had elevated the skill of, the imbalanced soil and breakdown of stress and and um uh and uh and uh what's the word I'm looking for? It's when you've played in something too long and you've caused an imbalance of the core matter and the shift in condition. We had, seen and understood and involved a elevated skill of containment to those conditions of uh of condition. Because, in order for us to move to a new planet, we're going to have to create newer technology of construction and operation that's strong enough to do the necessary, assisting of operation that we use on this planet, but stronger for other planetary matter. Material matter on other planets is not the same consistency and makeup as we have on this planet. So to assume the thought that we're going to go to another planet and travel there on this busted ass ship that we keep creating, we can't create one from Star Trek or any of the other created mystery shows of involvement, wonder of what could be. We can't create any of those as long as we've been on the planet. We can't create any of those with operation. But we keep seeing these new involvement of technology flying all over our space atmosphere and into our atmosphere, flying around. I wonder. Anyway, so again, it's just the truth. It really is. So pay attention, people. Wake up. Quit assuming that Area 51 and military containment has this equipment. Even if they did have this equipment, it doesn't matter. They can't use it. If they could, they'd already use it. We'd use it and go over there to the conflicting foreign country and just boo, 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 boo. Which really makes sense. Really? Right? So with that being said, again, it just really makes sense. There's no sense of us fighting any of our neighborly, civilized or uncivilized, populated regions of life. We don't. There's no reason to fight. Ever. Ever. I remind that. Ever. Is there a reason to fight? I don't need to fight my current homeland neighbors. I don't need to fight foreign country neighbors. I don't need to fight, or involve conflict of irritation and misdirection and harassment. I don't. It's not needed. So get it together, people. I don't understand your problem. I really don't. You got enough land already in your zone that you should be well off and happy with, existence and process. You should be fine. As long as you've lived on the planet, you haven't had a placement of direction and need of, achievement to be achieved of conflict and invasion, attack and harassment, destruction and torment. You don't have any of that at all. Oh, again, let me remind, I'm just curious. I'm not sending direction. I'm just very curious. Out of all this time we've been on the planet, no one's ever assumed to wipe out Africa. I'm not asking for Africa to be wiped out. I'm not asking for no location to be wiped out. I happen to be an American myself. American to the planet of existence. Because whether we assume it's not America and it's, Europe, or, a Spanish colony, Spain, or whatever, a Middle Eastern country of existence. It doesn't matter which region you put in question. We're all still connected to one planet. We're all still connected, whether the water stays, abundant and overflowing, or it dries up and allows us to access more land of exploration and spread of existence. Because the truth is, we should have already taken over all of the land already currently allowed. There shouldn't be a restricted way of life where we've processed this land with operation and the rest of that is foreign and uninhabited with operation and life. It doesn't matter. All of the whole planet should have existence of life. And again, the creation build of technology and manufactured construction should be gifted throughout the whole planet, which means that no matter what region you are from, you're sharing your information. You come up with something new, you share it. We have a central base of technical, analyzed, calculation of notation. The hive. It doesn't matter. The hive is located all over the planet for processing and calculation and directed information gathering. It doesn't matter. There's not one place. It's all over. Boom, 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 boom. So that way you can develop an understanding of information and an interpretation of operation, and then you can share that information, and you don't have to worry about traveling it so far. You just share it, and it automatically connects to all the other hives located throughout existence. It's the truth. Again, let's continue. Science and way of life, business, the involvement of systematic order and process, work, education, and condition otherwise is all free. It is free. Really, it is really free. Because you don't pay for it. You really don't. The system adapted direction of operation and analyzed analytical direction and comparison of condition. So with that being said, it had already adapted from the beginning this way of condition and process. But the truth is, it doesn't matter at all, because nothing of what we use of what we know of what you guys assume is important exists truthfully to reality. It's just a way of life. It's a function of, of characteristic activity. It really is. So with that being said, you could stop working and retire. To the truth, you could. Life doesn't need you to work. It doesn't need you to educate with historic and order of comparison, similarity, and operation of existence. It doesn't. It really doesn't. You don't have to know anything about anything on the planet, to be realistically frank. You just need to live. You need to live long enough until you awaken with an understanding about what the truth is, to then be accepted to the next life, afterlife, death, heavenly, eternal bliss. So it doesn't matter to everybody who's dying early. Yeah, it's a travesty. It really is. But they get to automatically go to heaven. The rest of us have to earn our privileged right to awaken with the truth, living a righteous life of existence from the time that you understand that you've been living wrong from the past, to then awaken with an understanding of truth, to then forth your existence with change and adaptation to an understanding of, balance and accepted condition of function. So with that being said, it doesn't matter. You could be the smartest person of historian archived information. Past, history, religion, spiritual, and manifestation otherwise. You could be the smartest person ever recalling all that information. That information does you no good if you haven't woken up and you haven't seen the truth. You haven't translated the encryption of the truth God, Creator, had directed with notated early existence, if that's what you're reading. You know everything from this archived information of study, but you haven't interpreted the meaning of the significance encrypted truth. So again, it doesn't matter. Either you awaken with the truth or you don't, and you share misguided, false, and unrelated interpretation and acceptance of information and direction. You're just sharing lost and confusion of what you assume is important. That's all you're doing. So I'm not naming names. You guys know who you are. All of you are sharing that type of, directed interpretation of information. Because you guys say a lot of information that, scratch the thought, it is of interest. But then you got to break it down. You really do have to break it down. You got to ask the questions. You really do have to remind yourself to use the same directed detective process and uncovering all directions. This, that, this, the wonder, maybe, and what if? You have to, explore the whole entirety, not just assume that you had picked this apart and this happens to be the direction of information that I'm going to go with, and then we're not going to worry about any of these other wonders or possibilities because I'm okay right here where I'm going and directed of my privileged and my necessary choice in involvement. So again, I chose to do what you don't, and I picked it all apart. Then I laid it all out. Then I picked it back up. Then I sorted it. Then I questioned all the locations. Then I asked for an understanding and interpretation. Then I requested these eyes and the truth to be witnessed and involved with allowance and direction. And then I also asked God, the Creator, to destroy me early. Not human and man destruction, but the allowance of creation to then bring existence to peace. Only because he had already shared with me, an understanding of direction that is very much true if we don't wake up. So I just don't want to deal with it. We see proof of harassment and torment throughout the whole planet's core, all over. Why do I want to live long enough to then bear witness to this misguided harassment and torment of reality if I've already seen it with elevated revelation of interpretation and witness to already gifted. I don't want to live it. I don't. Our history had already proven, that you going through that shit is, torment and tragic of unhealthy conditions. It really is. So again, adding what we already know, I asked him, I'm like, God, please, what's the purpose of existence on this planet? Why'd you create us? If the truth of information is that we were created early on with a test setup, Adam and Eve with God and life, existence, and the privileged, directed free will of operation and manifested direction of allowance and activity to do whatever. Why that doesn't make no sense. You create a planet and the universe and the existence of life throughout space atmosphere, far and wide, all the way deep, but you create a planet you call Test 0X Earth planet, and you give the allowance of bliss and harmonious balance in creation. Then you throw a curveball with misfocus and choice by saying, hey, look, you guys get to live on the planet and you guys have everything. Don't worry about nothing, because I'm daddy, God, baby. I'm creation of created. And, I got this shit. What was the purpose of creating everything with manifested amazement and direction of opportunity and ultimate placement, then create the civilization of partnership and companion and company with a fault of, unneeded activity and involvement. Why give yourself a loss? Why turn around and then assume that the problem is the existence of creation not listening and following direction, for then you to turn around and then pass judgment of condition and a correction to then banish and, watch the existence of its future with error and infraction of returning back to balance. Why? Does it make no sense to me? Again, I'm not going to give all the information. I'm going to let you uncover, something on your own of interpretation and, translated, accepted understanding. But again, you are the creator, whoever the creator is of creation. None of you will ever know who he is or it or what the existence or manifestation of created design, whatever the creator is, in design of truth of what it looks like, whatever it looks like. It's truth of whatever it was created. None of you, us, whoever, will ever know. You just don't. You don't know what God looked like in the beginning when he touched down on the planet and involved operation of, function. You don't. Then again, you don't know if God ever left the planet. You don't. You just understand to what you understand to what you've read and interpreted of understanding, or whatever you understand. So again, God may have never left the planet. May have always been on the planet. Always, still to existent. May already still be on the planet. May have never left. Or God, the creator, had left with frustration and disappointment and took off to continue life and operation all over elsewhere, to then, be in direction of travel to come back to seek if anything had returned to the truth of survival and purpose created function. Maybe. Who knows? But again, who knows? So again, who knows? Even if you die, who knows whether you'll be allowed to actually witness the truth of design, manifestation of who God or the creator really is in sight. Who knows? If ever you'll understand, if you do die, and you do get to be reunited with the ultimate being, whether you'll manifest an understanding to even question an understanding, to then remind yourself that you had accepted an achievement of this caliber of witness. Who knows? Because again, if you die, it doesn't mean that your information of understanding and lifestyle gets interpreted in reincarnation elsewhere of remembrance and process. It doesn't. You're gonna die, truth, and then you're gonna be reincarnated or evolve of new design elsewhere. You're not going to have any remembrance of this planet and the operation or function or condition. You're not. It's not going to matter to your next life to recall an understanding of past existence. It's just not. You're not going to return here. You're really not. Everything dead doesn't come back. It continues new direction. It doesn't cycle to return. It doesn't. There's no reason. The universe is infinite with direction and opportunity. What would make sense to you to remind yourself of an understood misunderstanding of information archived and notated? It doesn't make any sense, but believe what you want. Again, 2 hours and 16 minutes. Baby, we can go forever. I'm good at this. I talk to myself all the time. I remind myself to talk to myself enough to interpretate what the truth is, because I uncover enough. I talked to myself when I was at my apartment. I talked to myself in my head when I was young, before I actually got vocal and shared, interpretation of, self-shared counsel and psychology of information and calculation. I share it with everybody too, but I mean, the best people who interpretate communication talk to themselves. They do. Enough of you talk to yourselves already, so it's not weird or unusual. It's life. Actually, if you pay attention to everything on the media, you talk to yourself. You gotta talk to yourself to record, right? You do. You're not having someone record you and you're talking to them and they just happen to be, capturing the information being, released. You're actually using your own psychotic condition of crazy and interpretation and feeling to operation and characteristic involvement in communication. So you're all losing it. Anyway, but that's the gist of that gist. It just really look at it like, who is God? Who? Not what is he? Not where'd he go? Not his ability of might? No, not is he going to judge me and condemn me? No, really. But I don't need to ask who God is, because it's not important for me to translate and interpretate who or what or ever if wonder question God. It's not. It really isn't. I don't care. I really don't. whoever the creator is the creator. And, I remind myself he had already gifted existence. Whether I see it and understand it, or the privilege of connection and involvement, or otherwise. So it really doesn't matter. It just matters to me, to matter to you, to matter to the truth that you understand that you were created, and then you understand that your existence elsewhere is all on your understanding and your awakening truth of life and function. So whether you live for a second, you didn't live at all, or you've lived long enough, your accepted, authorized approval of privilege, afterlife, next existence, is up for question depending on your condition into the next existence. Early, you get spared. Later, you earn privilege. It's the truth. I mean, really is the truth. It doesn't matter how you look at it. If I wouldn't have ever awoken with the truth, I'd be lost like the rest of you. I wouldn't have an understanding to calculate, to understand, to translate, to interpretate, to encrypt. I wouldn't. I'd just be confused, following information and foolish direction of the masses. I would. I wouldn't assume to decode and detect reason to to process a detective calculated understanding of necessary direction in information gathering. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want the need to grab all this information and split it up and separate it and try and figure all of it out, even what I could calculate of unimportant. So yeah, again, you gotta know the direction process of the, what's necessary. And then once you know, you evolve, you adapt, and then you get it. It just comes right to you. So again, follow my notes if you want to follow my notes. If you don't want to follow my notes, fine, don't follow my notes. It doesn't matter. It's not that I'm wrong, and it's not, maybe I'm not right. But then again, you're going to need my notes to remind yourself of what you're missing. So you can say what you want, but apparently to God, I happen to be a lot closer than most of you. Hate it or love it. I kind of love it. I remind myself it's the only way. Anyway, 2 hours and 23 minutes. I'm doing pretty good. I was actually supposed to leave and go on a little journey, stretch my leg, drive my car, take it to the mechanic, question a misunderstanding in function, my fuel pump, which to my knowledge was fine until it wasn't fine, and there's a problem. I could question with analyzed understanding about the truth of its malfunction, but what's the point, right? The mechanic's going to know. Anyway, and then I got to pick up some pills if the office is still open, to try and assume that I'm going to get some sleep, because this medicine happens to do that. Probably not. And then I have to remind myself to check in, at the physician so I can remind appointment for my kneecap. Still direction of operation to x-ray and external view of, function and, operation. So, I mean, there's a lot of places I gotta go. I still have to remind myself that somewhere along this line, my kneecap's gonna get better. I'm gonna return back to full and healthy function because I've not hurt myself in any accident that would involve the condition of my kneecap having inflammation of irritation, sore, and mobility restriction. But again, to calculated assumed theory, I happen to have been locked up way too long, and the incarcerated harassment of detention and no function of mobility and normal, activity of movement caused me to dormant. And that dormant caused me to then, grow old and, fossilized. Then the return of activity and direction of, function happened to have shooken the body with an inconsistent function of operation to what I was already operated with the slowdown and no movement, to then cause me to have inflammation, irritation, and dysfunction to my kneecap as it blew up and caused me mobility restriction. So the good thing is, so far, the other knee hasn't had any function of irritation and, condition of, problem so far. But it's still early, right? It's still early. So again, it's not like I have a whole lot on my list of places and options and opportunity of direction and function to get into. I just don't. I don't do anything really. I mean, I'm a worker and I'm restricted from work because my workplace had reminded me that my function of operation and health related problem is needed for a physician of health and science to, approve in the function of my job status. So they had reminded me that I'm not allowed to operate even with restricted mobility and handicap. So I mean, if I had a different operation of work, probably would have been different. I'd still be hobbling around, and getting shit done at a slower pace. But because this function of operation condition in work is different, they decided against, my request to stay functional in operation and work. So I deal with it, and it's not something I want, but, I had spent 9 months plus 4 months in condition of injustice and incarcerated holding. So, I mean, right? Hopefully, I'm not doing this all over again, but not there, but not working. Because unless we adapt the truth of life and existence, we have to all work. It doesn't matter. Even you retired fucks, Still have to work. Still got to process finances and support trade of 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 currency. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Everybody on the planet has to have funds. It doesn't matter. Everything created, manufactured, developed has a price. It's free, but it has a price for you to pick up. Support, supply, demand, and product. It all has a price. So if for some reason we assume to not change and adapt the truth, then we have to find function of operation and involvement to resource of finance. So that's it. I mean, really. Anyway, 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm doing pretty good. I probably wasn't going to stay on this long, but I had reminded myself 2 hours and 23 minutes at that time to go all the way to 2 hours and 30 minutes. And it's 2 hours and 31 minutes here in the next 9 seconds. So with that being said, I happen to be your true, ultimate, universal, divine nature's royal right. I know everybody has their, their whatever, but, I'm not from Europe and inherited, their family crest of, royal and privileged, historic, genetic, right and privilege. I'm not from Europe. I wouldn't mind being from Europe, but I'm not, or any other country, foreign and or otherwise. Most likely other planetary, but whatever. So with that being said, I had to accept God and creation, divine royal inheritance of, purpose right. And it's probably a whole lot better. I'm not gonna lie. So with that being said, I happen to be yours truly. Again, I had left notation of the truth. I happen to be the wealthiest Earth planet male. The wealthiest by divine Earth royal right. The only, doesn't matter how many of you accept it now. It doesn't matter. It just accept it. Even if I don't get the approval of, function, resource, involvement to use and distribute for goods, services, and collection of, finance and currency otherwise, it doesn't matter. To God, he had gifted zillionation. And I know no one ever on the planet had ever assumed to zillionate until I created it and then shared it and then been sharing it throughout my spiels. So again, I am the only true first ever planet wealthiest zillionaire. I can't necessarily prove my financial account until, you guys get right. But I share the information of truth everywhere I go. And the truth is, either A, you understand what the truth is and you awaken and accept whether, you get to involve yourself with systematic process of direction and order, or you accept divine nature's entitled inheritance. You're only going to get one. So you're going to live both of them. You're just only going to get one. So pick one. I've already chosen God, even if I don't get to enjoy the truth of freedom and allowance to the resources in a condition manufactured and constructed. Bye.